that such things are actually happening. Basically, what is happening is the actual legal shift of this government is not going to be done through the American political system. It's going to be done from people close to the top of that system, but not actually a part of it. Most of the part of this political system has been pretty well bought and sold by international corporations and other interest groups who have pretty well taken over how these people are elected. So most of those people are not a part of this process we're talking about. It's people just below that, kind of like senior members of civil service and other people in the military, et cetera, who understand the process of what needs to get done and are secretly doing it. And it's pretty well dispersed through all different parts of the government as far as that goes, and also in legal parts of the court that have not given into the whole process of this buying off of interest that is how this government operates. And the result is that these groups have come together and they're very close to actually doing something that will allow for a governmental shift to happen at the appropriate time.
That's great. That's good to hear. I must say, over a period of time, I rather thought at one time that there was a group of generals that were getting together who might have gone down that path. But I guess if they have a plan to do that, they're not going to tell too many people.
No, it has to be absolutely secretive, because when you're in those positions of power, the amount of scrutiny you have to go under all the time requires that you really know how to operate in a way that's almost like a super, spy operative. You have to really know how to do it, and how to do it in a way that doesn't allow other people to know that you're doing it. So.
Now, it's something that you're not probably in the best position to answer. When the Bush administration are legally removed, would you happen to know whether it is the intention that they stand trial on Earth for their crimes, or would they be taken away, even, say, off the planet?
Well, the initial aspect is to kind of do what you might call like a super Nuremberg thing, because there'll be a lot of people in different countries. This is not just a one-shot deal as far as the American government. There's a lot of other governments also that they're going to, people in places of power, or we're in positions of power, that will be arrested and put in the position where they have to stand trial in this, like I like to call, super Nuremberg operation.
Because in my mind, I thought it would be possible that they might actually be removed from the Earth, and all this could take place somewhere else. I guess that may happen eventually, but I think what you said is the more likely process. Now, something that's come up from time to time in your messages that I think many people are interested in is your references to the inner Earth. Now, I gather, and you can again correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I've got this information, as you might say, second-hand, that you have said that everybody will move to the inner Earth.
Right. All the people who are going to be staying on Earth and in the solar system as guardians, as fully conscious physical angels, as I like to call them, are going to go to inner Earth, and those whose basic mission on this planet has been completed, because we're now approaching our return to full consciousness, will be going to the ships and returning to their homeworld. That's a very small percentage. Most of us are going to be going into inner Earth to change. And as a matter of fact, I'm in the process of finishing up a video that will be coming out on inner Earth hopefully before the end of this month, so that'll talk about all that stuff.
Oh, yes, fine. Yeah, well, I'm certainly going to ask you before the program ended whether you would like to promote any new books or whatever that you had, but maybe we can come back to that again anyway.
Sure.
Right, well, do you feel that when that action happens, when we reach that point where people are, or the majority are going to be perhaps taken into the inner Earth, would there prior to that have been a period when there would actually be people who didn't want to go forward with ascension and then would be going forward to another level, to another Earth, as has been predicted?
Well, from all I've heard, everybody's in this together, so we'll all be going at that moment into inner Earth, if that's what we're supposed to do for this particular life mission of ours, on this particular life cycle. If not, like I just said, those people who are when they become fully conscious, are supposed to return to their home worlds will do so.
Right, yeah.
And that would be only like maybe 10 or 20% of the population. The majority are going to stay here.
Yeah. So there is still, then I take it, a possibility that some people who might consider themselves not ready or still want to experience in the third dimension level, that may leave the Earth and actually go in a different direction.
Well, basically, from all that I've heard, everyone here has a life mission, except, as I said, if you are meant to go back to your home world. So even though you may be a very evil person on this planet or may not seem like a very nice person, in reality, you're something else. Everybody on this planet has agreed as far as this aspect of limited consciousness and their life mission before they become fully conscious to play certain roles. And so everybody's playing these roles from the Illuminati or Illuminoids, whatever you want to call them, all the way down to us. So whatever that particular role you played now, the final role everybody plays is an entirely different one. It's what we're all here for, which is to eventually become physical angels or fully conscious galactic beings, whatever you want to call it, and to fulfill the stewardship of helping to create this brand new solar system, galactic star nation, whatever name we come up with that we're supposed to call it.
Yeah. That's good to hear. Now, over a period of time, how much information have you, if any that is, about ETs and their bases on the moon?
Well, what has happened there is, of course, originally from, you might say, the very beginning, the moon was an artificial satellite. It was kind of a defense planet for what some people call Maldek, what I've been told to call Bellona, who was the Roman goddess of war, the companion of Mars, and they said that's really more accurate for the world. But the moon, of course, came here when Lemuria was destroyed by the Atlanteans. And the moon, of course, is hollow because it is an artificial battle moon, so to speak. And there have been bases on it ever since that time. And so as far as ET bases on the moon are, they've been there for a long, long time, and they're still there. Right now, they're Galactic Federation bases. And for a long time in the 50s through the 90s, there were various parts of those. They had separate bases that were allowed certain groups like the Russians, the English, the Canadians, the Americans, and a few other groups that had craft that had been either back engineered or that they had obtained. Like, for instance, the Germans had a lot of equipment that the Russians and the Americans got their hands on. And as a result of that, there's been bases on the moon. There were bases on the moon for almost 50 years. So, so we had that for a long, long time, and that's of course what the Apollo 11 astronauts discovered when they stepped out their limb on the moon. They saw there were a lot of spacecraft up there, and a lot of them had, you might say, emblems on them that show they were members of either the Russian or the American or British Air Force.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would have been a surprise.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when they came back, they started talking with one another about it, and they said not too many kind words about how they were just a PR project.
Really? Well, that's interesting. I haven't heard that story before, so I like that one. Now, would it be true to say that for thousands and thousands of years, ETs have used the moon as their base, and the areas you're talking about, apart from where the Apollo 11 landed, would that be mainly on the side that we don't normally see, that's away from our view? Right.
The dark side of the moon has a slightly different topography, and that allows for more openings, and that's basically where the basic surface bases as well as the main entrances into the interior were,
Right. Have you ever been in a ship with them around the moon?
Right. I've been out in space all over the place, including back to Sirius.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible that how they zip around the universe.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, it takes only about less than 7 minutes to get from here to Sirius, the way they travel. So.
Wonderful, isn't it?
It is.
I love the idea of that. You can travel virtually instantaneously. So it's a wonderful concept.
It is.
Okay. Now, I was sent a few notes. I think that's